G'day and welcome, my name's Cautious Pancake and today I'm going to show you how you can be farming screamers from day 2 of 7 days to die. I'm bunkered down in the early hours of day 2 after a fairly standard day 1. I completed 2 quests for Trader Bob before ending up here for the night. Both quests were a fair distance away as there weren't any super close ones, but while out and about, I did notice a really promising POI for a base that we can use to farm some screamers. So the plan for today is once it's light we'll head back to my storage chest just outside the trader, then grab what we need for some base building and go modify this POI. The game is on warrior difficulty with all other options as default, and as you can see I only made it to level 3, didn't get any luck with the armor loot drops, but I did get a hammer, and also this fire axe which is going to come in real handy in a second. So now that it's sun up, let's get cracking! Okay, let's get out of here, head outside, see if we run into any zombies, but otherwise let's head back to the trader and find our storage chest. I'm pretty well encumbered, so it's going to take a minute. There we go. Now get rid of some of this junk, and the first things we're going to need are ammo, food and drink, our hammer, and any sort of construction material that we think might come in handy for base building. Probably a little bit early for concrete, but we might as well take it with us. Get rid of some of these other bits and pieces that we're not going to need just yet. Just about might do us. Might as well take the land claim just in case we want to put that down. Grab the chili. I think that'll do. Next on the agenda is wood. We're going to need about 2,000 wood to build the base and to fuel the campfires that we're going to use to call in the screamers. I'm guessing its base build's going to take about 100 blocks, give or take. So you've got about 200 blocks there. Plus upgrading them all to wood is another 8 each, so that's 800. Put that together, there's 1,000 wood there. And I'm guessing we're going to use about 30 campfires with probably 3 wood blocks as fuel. Put that together, 30 by 3 is 90 wood blocks. They use 10 each, so that's another 900. So 2,000 wood, give or take, should get us through. And that's how you get 2,000 wood in about 10 seconds. From here we're just going to whiz around to the front of the POI, and then get set up, ready to start building the base so that we can farm some screamers. Heading inside, the first thing that we're going to want to do is clear out the place. So we're just going to sneak around here. Ooh, loot bag, nice. Hopefully we'll get some ammo. Ooh, and some armor finally. Pop that on, scrap you, take the shotgun shells. Nothing much else. There's one in the grass over there. Ooh, another one behind the gravestone. There we go, and there's usually a couple inside from memory. There they are. Okay, that's done. I think that's probably everyone. Other than obviously in the main part of the POI, which is downstairs inside that tomb back there to the right. While we're here, we'll just grab a little bit extra wood. Now, the cool thing about this POI is it's got a 3-block high cobblestone wall that goes all the way around the outside without any breaks. This means that if you want to set up for the full 11 block away from your central base and make the zombies run all the way around from that point over there, then you can do so. For this base, we're probably going to go not quite as high, so I'm going to break some of my rage mode avoidance rules and go a little bit lower. Probably only 5 or 6 blocks high, and we're going to pull it in from the side right behind us, just so that we can have a faster base run than the really long time it takes to run around the outside. So let's get cracking on the base build. We're just going to have our entrance up here, straight up the side of the church cathedral-y thing, and put in a little bit of a combat platform here for us to stand and fight on. Not going to be super big, just big enough for us to camp out here at night time and obviously to fight the zombies that we're going to call in with the screamers later. So I think that's probably big enough. Then what we wanted to do is start building some more frames because we're going to run out. But apart from that, we're going to need to start building some pathways across from here, from the wall directly opposite us. So we're just going to clear out this bench. Now we can put up just some stairs, basic stairs, one over to the side just to make it easier to jump up. And they're just for us to get up and down off this wall while we're doing the construction nice and easily. We're going to put 2 runs of blocks, one to each side. First one's going to be the up and down half plate blocks that we use on the Infinity Stairs build. This is going to be our fail-safe path to make sure that the zombies always fall down and always have a path to us to make sure that they always run around the wall. The second side is going to be the combat side that we're going to use to draw up the zombies that we want to fight so that we can control where they go and only have zombies coming up when we're ready for them. You can see here I'm just starting with some ramp blocks with the up and down rotations just to give it a nice little look. We want that to go that far up, and then I think we're going to need to switch. That should be high enough. One more. Pop that on there, and I think that's then matching the height of our base. And we can just move over to using cube blocks. One there. Same again on the other side. And then we're going to need some supports that are attached to the ground from there, otherwise it's going to start to collapse. Just going to mark that there so we know where to line it up with. And we can just pop that straight up. Grab that back. And then do the same on the other side. There we go. Now we just need to build this over a little bit closer until we're 2 blocks away from our fighting platform. That's 3 blocks out, we need 1 more. There you go, 2 blocks away. Now, to attach it, we're actually going to use a door. And again, this is just to control the pathing so that when we don't want to fight zombies, we can just whack open the door and they'll stop coming this way. They'll switch over to the other path. So that's our fighting path. Heading back over the other side. Now we need to finish off our static path that's always going to be there, but that the zombies pretty much will never cross. We're going to use this half plate up and down block that we used on the Infinity Stairs. So rotate this around so that it's up the top to start with. And then we're going to need to get over somewhere that we can see it from the other side, which should be okay from our platform. Sometimes you just need to crouch to get it to line up. Then we can rotate it down to the bottom on the furthest away position, flip it back around, and now go back up to the top again from the furthest away. And 1 more to connect it up so that the path is attached, and we're done. So that path will always be there, but the zombies won't make it across. This is our fighting path. Now it's time to just put in whatever your preference is for fighting platform sort of blocks to stop the zombies but allowing you to fight through it. My favorite is the double poles, then the half poles, sorry, the 0.05 meter poles. Just going to jump up here, and then another row of the double poles. Rotate it around. Someone's mad downstairs. And then on top of that, we're just going to put 1 more block so that when they're standing on each other's shoulders, they can't come over the top. So rather than going all the way around to the other end of the wall for this test, we don't need the big delay that we would have to sit there and wait, particularly if we start getting zombies during the day. So we're just going to put it, 3/4 of the way around the wall just to get them started. You might want to move that for Horde night, especially if you're running 64 zombies or something like that. First one's not too bad, but for the day 14 or the 21 Horde, you're probably going to want, again, the little bit extra time by having them run all the way around the wall. We do need to also put in, we don't need to, but we are going to put in a little ramp here. This is just to stop them having to jump up, then they might stumble and fall off. Again, if we're screamer farming, we want the zombies to come to us. We don't want them falling off this wall. Need to knock this little statue out the way. Otherwise the zombies will do it for us, but it'll just create a little bit of a blockage in their pathing. They'll queue up, they'll all fall off behind the lead one that's trying to smash on it, and again, doesn't help us gain XP. And another ramp down there, just to help them. These little half blocks the zombies can run over no problems, and that's a nice clear route to us. So these ones we might use as a pathing test. While we wait though, since they're going to take a little while, let's start upgrading our base. Start with wood for all of the main blocks, and we might just do cobblestone on the round double poles in the middle, as they're the ones that will probably take the most damage. Got our level up to level 4 from the construction. And you can see that pathing worked just fine, where they followed the shortest path to us along the combat bridge. You want to make sure that the shortest one is the one that you can control and turn on and off most easily. Otherwise they'll just always follow the AFK up and down path. So you want to make sure that's the longer one, so that they only use that when our combat path is unavailable. Well, there we go. That is one upgraded wood base. Now that the wood base is done, next step is to set up all our campfires. The campfires are the objects that are going to create the heat, which is the system that the game uses to track effectively noise that will result in the screamers coming to us, rather than us having to go look for zombies. To do that, I think the minimum number from my research is around 24, other people have said, for how many campfires that you need to constantly sustain screamers coming in. I'm going to go a little bit above that, just in case we also have some of these campfires on a separate chunk. So a chunk is a small area of the game world. Each chunk of the game world is going to generate its own heat score for screamers. So we need to keep these fairly tightly packed so that they all sit on the same one. That's going to make sure that we get a nice, good, constant increase in heat and lots of screamers coming fairly regularly, so that we make it worthwhile to stand around and fight the zombies. Otherwise, if you only get one every now and then, it's just not worth your while going to the effort of trying to call them in and then fight them if there's not enough zombies coming through. Okay, so that's our 30 campfires. The next thing we need to do is make up our wood frames that are going to be used for the fuel, just so that we only have to load in 3 things per campfire. It just makes it a bit easier. I'm going to grab 100 of those frames, and since that's going to take 3 minutes to craft up, what we might do while we wait is go clear out the POI below, see if we get anything that's going to be of use for the night ahead. Hopefully we get some new weapons or something like that. Given it's not a particularly complicated, it's a level 2 POI, but we should be able to rip through here fairly easily. From memory, it's just a bunch of zombies hiding behind the engraved paneling around the outside. So if we just sneak down, it should be just mostly me taking stealth shots at those panels and then sneak shots at the zombies while they're still in there. Okay, just the final room to go now, I think. See if we can sneak in, get some shots off. Can't quite get a headshot there. Stepped one step too far. Right, let's clean these guys up. Next thing we have to do is a very, very exciting task, and that is loading in a little bit of wood into each of the campfires. So grabbing our wood blocks that finished, if we add 3 into each, we've got 25 minutes. Given that most of the night time on standard settings is about 20 minutes long, that should give us a little bit of lead time before the beginning of night, before 10 PM, to turn everything on and start the screamers coming in when they're all nice and slow. And then it should run all night through the evening and keep us hopefully not too deep in zombies, hopefully just the right amount, perfect amount, Goldilocks amount of zombies coming through. We'll find out shortly, but that's the plan. Keep the zombies coming all night, keep the screamers coming all night, so that we can just farm XP rather than just sitting around like you do in a lot of the early evenings when you're afraid to go out because you don't want to run into the quick zombies while you're out and defenseless. This way you get to sit back and use a pretty solid base design, hopefully, to farm them for XP rather than sitting around doing nothing because you can't really craft early on. And there we go. We're obviously not going to start them just yet. It's a little bit early. It's only 4 o'clock. But now they're all ready so that we can turn them on one after the other nice and quickly, which will help bring in the screamers all together. Okay, it's 7:45. I think it's time to get sorted. So we might do first is pop up a couple of torches so that we can see what we're doing during the horde. Wait a minute, not during the horde. It's not horde night. During the screamer farming. Pop this one up here so we can see as they're climbing back up. And now it is time to... we might just grab a few extra frames. I'm just a little bit worried that the zombies might get stuck on the outside of one of these walls. The wall here, if they're on the other side of that, we want them to be able to come over nice and easily rather than getting stuck here for a while and potentially bashing on the wall for ages before they break through. They might run around the outside, but they might also just get stuck there. So let's make it nice and easy for them to get up. They can either run around the wall to get to us, or they can drop inside and then come back up on one of the other staircases. So the next thing to do is to start the screamers coming. This is why we loaded them up earlier. We can just walk along here and turn everything on, and that should get our heat cranking up nice and quickly. There we are. One other thing to be aware of is that 30 Campfires doesn't do great things for your frame rate. So be aware that your frames might take a dip while you're doing this, so you just need to be a little careful. Just going to add in a few ladders up to the top as well now, as well as grabbing all our weapons and ammo. And getting our loadout set up for Horde Night. I've said it again. It's not Horde Night. It's going to feel like Horde Night maybe, but it's just a screamer farm. I want to be able to get up to the top here, just so that we've got some visibility as to where the zombies are coming from, particularly at the beginning now while we're waiting for our first screamer to show up. Perfectly safe this is, no chance that I'm going to fall. I can see a rabbit, but no screamers or zombies just yet. It does take a little while for the heat to come up and summon in the first screamer, and then it also takes a little while for the screamer to make its way over to your location. And sometimes you will end up hearing them before you can see them and figure out where they are. Let's just keep an eye out and an ear out. Oh, I heard something. Yeah, there's definitely one over here now. Where is it? It's not there. It's not. Oh. It's stuck on the fence. Come on. Come around the side of the fence. Come on. He's well stuck. Let's go give her a hand. It's not risky, right? Nah, we'll be fine. There you are. Just knock this. Oops. Accidentally hit the screamer, and again. Alright, that should just give it a bit of an extra helping hand. I think they just knocked out the fence. Let's go back and get those up here. Come on. Oh, that sounded like a second screamer. So we could have two on the way in now, just as night falls. The other thing we need to do is grab an extra level of Pummel Pete. There's our screamer, although I think that's the second screamer. Enable the combat path. And here we go. Time to farm some zombies. Now, since we don't want to kill the screamers until they've screamed in all of the zombies that they can spawn. Just open that door underneath them, send them back down, and they can start another lap. And off we go again. Means that you don't get some hits in on the other zombies. But as you can see, they've already got... Maybe there's 3 screamers already. This could be working a little more effectively than I expected. Oh, he's come straight through. That's not ideal. So again, you just try and avoid the screamers until you think that they've used up all their screams. I think they have 3 each. Just keep our club up repaired. Just make sure we don't get too close to the zombies and just sit back here. Club them. So you don't have to use clubs, but I am just to give yourself that little bit of downtime when they get knocked down. Clubs are still OP. Until Alpha 21 anyway. And then we'll see. As you can see, there's a little bit of extra rage moding going on the base downstairs. Not too bad since it's a fairly large POI. If you want to avoid that, as per my rage mode video, you need to go up to 11 blocks above the ground level. And obviously keep the base 11 blocks away from the walls so that they don't go into rage mode on the wall. Breaking my own rules already and using the weapons for combat rather than getting their attention. I don't think we've got any problem with that getting the screamers' attention. This has certainly brought in more zombies than I was necessarily expecting, but I think the base should hold up fine. You can see there they start to go to the second path when that door's open, but then come back once the door's shut. So I think I'm going to give up avoiding the screamers and I'm just going to try and kill everything. And that should be just fine given how many zombies we've got. The main issue is at this low level, we're just not going to be able to kill them fast enough. We really need a baseball bat or something. And if they get too many, we can just release the pressure a bit by dropping them down below. Gives us a bit of time to repair. You see there they went over the AFK path and then fell down, so that's perfect. Out of stamina. That's going to be a common theme. Grab a bit of water, see if that helps. That's all our ammo. See if we can clear these out a bit to give ourselves a bit more time. It's not really working, let's give ourselves another break. The main thing is keeping things repaired so they don't come through, and you can see how much they're stacking on top of each other. That's the other reason for that 4th block high, so they don't come over the top, because otherwise we'd be neck deep in zombies by now. You can see it's sometimes also hard to get position on the door when there's so many zombies on them. Thankfully the screamers aren't particularly tough if you do want to focus them down, if things start to get a little bit crazy. Oh, we've broken our club. Hey, stop attacking the walkway. Oh, missed anyway. As you can see though, despite it being kind of hectic, it's certainly working as intended. We've got what almost does feel like a War Night volume of zombies coming through. Of course it's not loaded. See if this helps. Got one of them anyway. Reload while they're all going that way. Oh, one of them made it across. And I don't think I finished that reload. Oh well. Back to the club. We can just get rid of them again while we're out of stamina. Gives us a bit of a break. looks like we'll at least kill one. Oh, there's a level up. So that's been a benefit already. We've taken one level on a night where normally you'd just be sitting around doing not much at all. Ow. Of course, nothing could possibly go wrong with this number of zombies. If they do get through, I'm toast. But as long as we keep the base repaired, as long as that door stays okay, we should be fine. Seems to have stabilised a bit. It's not like it's bringing in more and more and more screamers. It's not like the screamers are calling screamers, thankfully. So, at least at this game stage, I wouldn't expect that to happen. So we can just sort of sit here and do this. Obviously, the intention of this sort of thing is it's not just on a day 2 that you can do it, and every night that you're finished doing quests of the traders or whatever, that you then sit around back at base. You don't just have to do nothing. You can basically fire up the campfires and have your own little horde night whenever you want. You'll need 1,000 wood each time you want to do it, but apart from that, especially once you've got a fire axe or a steel axe or something a bit more powerful, it's really not going to take a lot. Man, there's a lot of zombies down there. There's a lot of zombies climbing that fence. And another level. So that's 2 levels have gone out. Okay, 2 hours to go. The screamers are still coming in and voicing their frustration at me. Does seem like we've got a few of them at the moment. I don't know whether there's a new batch of them or something. That. Definitely don't want them smacking on those wood blocks and destroying any pathing. That would not be good for us. Stamina is still a problem. It'll be really good if we get enough levels out of this to get a couple of points into strength and then the last 6 Rex level. You guys go down. What I've also realised is I've been fighting this whole time with a tier 2 club when I could have made a tier 3 club. Let's just set that back up again. You can see that little AFK path gives us a bunch of extra time, and that was almost broken. That would have been bad. Oh dear. So that nurse that was sitting there smashing on the path for a little while, I think, has now destroyed the path, and I don't think we can reach to restore it. We could have got block, if we could have got block there, we could have restored the path and put a new door in. So instead, let's try and clear them off for starters. No, that's not going to work. I wonder if we can put a new path this side somehow. Make another door, and then can we put that next to this path so that they, instead of falling down all the time, they can make it onto this door? Let's try some running repairs, shall we? Might not work, but it's worth a shot, because if they can get onto that, we can still keep going. Or is that too diagonal? Oh, he almost made it. There we go, 1. Ow. Let's just heal up. So we've only got 13 minutes left. And take some pot shots with a bow and arrow for a little while. But what obviously you might want to consider is reinforcing as much of this with cobble or some reinforcement blocks to make sure that doesn't happen. But otherwise, I reckon that held up pretty well for an old wood base. As I said, it's not the 11 high, 11 wide, oh sorry, 11 high, 11 gap from the base to the wall like I would normally do for a horde base where I'm worried about rage mode. And that's obviously what got us here, is the rage mode, and the blocking of the pathing is why they've attacked that wood bridge and broken it down for us. There you go. End of the evening. The zombies are all nice and slow now. We need to pick off all these screamers because I don't want any more. The fires are still going, which I'm a little surprised about, but they can't be far off stopping. And I don't think we're going to want to just sit up here and fight them the whole time. It's going to be too slow. So let's go have some fun. And by fun, I mean, let's run away like a chicken. No. Let's see if we can bring them over here. Now, while we're waiting, obviously this is pretty much the perfect POI for this base. The central cathedral part is 11 blocks in and away from the wall. The wall is 3 high, which is what you need so that the zombies can't just jump up onto it with any old bit of rubble next to it. And it's cobblestone, which is even better. So, I mean, concrete would be perfect. Ouch, I don't think this is working. So whilst this is almost the perfect POI for this style of Infinity Stairs, where you don't have to build the whole thing yourself, a lot of people pointed out on the previous Infinity Stairs builds that the 3 wide pathway and full construction of the original base was very expensive on the blocks, and they're right. It was, I think, from memory, about 1,500 blocks, which isn't the cheapest build, obviously. It's possible to make a 1 high wall like this from scratch with a tower that's about 3 by 3 in the middle, from about 500 blocks from memory. Whereas this one obviously only took us about 100 blocks. It'll be a few more if you build it up to the 11 high at the top of that central cathedral, maybe 150 blocks. But overall, it's a significant reduction by using the existing wall and structure to build from. It's not the only POI that we can use. There's a few others, so I might just pop them up and rotate them on the screen so that you've got an idea of what else we can use while the zombies almost kill me. So those are just a few of the POIs that you might come across early game that you can convert to a screamer farm. There's probably others, just remember you're looking for a 3 block high wall that the zombies can run along, with hopefully an existing building mostly centered, or off to the side of the wall so that you can keep the zombies 11 blocks away until you're ready to fight them. Also make sure you watch out for those with the industrial fences around them, as although the wall is 3 blocks high, the zombies can't run across the pointy fence bits. One other thought, I think in hindsight using 3 blocks of wood per campfire was too much, and going with 2 blocks instead would have been better. That would have meant that I would have finished up the zombies closer to 4 AM, allowing for a full day of exploration. Well, that's pretty much it. I hope you've enjoyed this video on how to get a screamer farm running on day 2, which netted us about 3.5 levels of XP once all is said and done. Please consider giving this video a like and subscribing if you'd like to see more like it. As always, thanks for watching and good luck with your screamer farming.